What's up? I've been metal detecting 3 trips now, and I haven't found anything worthwhile making a video about. So today is just a show and tell day. So I have here a mason jar from the 1800s, about 1880 to 1890. It's not even a ball jar. Check it out. So I found this at a garage sale. It was mixed in with a bunch of Hobby Lobby junk. I immediately recognized it and I knew it was old, so I bought it. I spent $1 on it, and that was a good deal because this is not even a ball jar. It's an old one. It says Mason, patent November 30th, 1858. It's got this cross on it, which meant it was made by, I think, the Hero company. And then it's got another date on the bottom, November 20th, 67. Yeah, that's 1867. So from everything I've read, this was made between 1880 and 1890. And if you look at the casting line right there, that is really rough looking. It's almost like it's going to split and water is going to come out. There's all types of bubbles and imperfections in this glass. And if you look at the lip right here, and I'll post a picture of it, you can see that the lip is actually ground down. Somebody put this on some type of grinding stone. So the fact that it's in really rough shape, that's what makes it beautiful. You can't really tell on camera, but it's almost like the sides have been squeezed in. I bet you that this was made by hand, not completely made by machines like the later ones were, and they made them as quickly as possible and as cheaply as possible. So it's in rough condition, and that's how it came. That's the 1800s. And so bottle collectors aren't overly impressed with mason jars. And I think it's because they're not looking at it the right way. If you look at it with the right perspective, it's very impressive. Think about this. This mason jar, let's pick a date. Let's say 1885. If this was made in 1885, then the person who actually owned it would have looked like this right here. And their handwriting back in 1885 probably would have looked like this. This guy was the president. This was the US map. This is what the flag looked like. And the woman who owned this, if she had kids and if she could afford to take portraits of them, then she would have put them in dresses, even the boys, and it would have looked like this. And so the person that was using this around here was probably canning apples during this time of the year, the fall. And they probably did so on a stove that was powered by coal or wood, and it would have looked like this right here. So if you compare this 1880s mason jar with this 1900 mason jar, you'll see that this one right here is in so much better shape. It was made with so much care and so much precision. This was back in the days when there was no guarantee that you were going to live a long, healthy life, so you didn't worry about making things perfect. And you can see that the country is actually developing and things are getting better. And it seems that life itself was getting better for people. And so that's why this is historical, because you can literally see society and life changing just by looking at these mason jars. So I don't know why they had to grind this lip down with the grinding wheel, but they did. And that's interesting because back in the 1800s, many people died from their jobs. If you worked in coal, then you got black lung. If you worked in textiles, then textile fibers gave you brown lung. If you worked in a glass factory where they did lots of grinding, then you probably got mesothelioma or something. But it didn't much matter back then. They did what they had to do, and that's all that they knew. I've had terrible luck metal detecting. The other day I was looking for a brick schoolhouse that was built in 1850s, and so I found it. I went out there and detected as if my life depended on it, and I found a brick. That's pretty much all I found. But this brick right here is pretty old. If you look at the quality of the brick, it actually is quite soft. You can write with it like it's sidewalk chalk, you know? So I think that this is a brick from 1850s. I've heard this called a pumpkin brick before because it's soft, like how the inside of a pumpkin would be. So I'm not actually certain, I'm not for sure what the story is behind this, but it's a pumpkin brick. I also found a nice harmonica reed. That could be 1800s, and maybe some kids were playing the harmonica on their way to school. And that's all I found. It's unbelievable that I hardly found anything here. Okay, this is from a second failed metal detecting trip. I was detecting where an old train station was, and it was there in the 1800s and gone in the 1900s. So I think that this is one of those railway plates, and you can see how irregular the holes are. Every single hole here is a different shape. So that reminds me of the 1800s. I also found this thing right here. This is a gigantic, heavy piece of lead, and it says CSTPMO, and that stands for Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and Omaha, and that was the name of the train company. So I don't know what part of the train this came from, but the oldest it could be is about 1880, because that's when all of these companies merged into one railroad. So it weighs about, I don't know what, 25 pounds probably. Okay, so here's a marble. I found this in another video, but I really didn't understand what exactly I had found. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so I've got an interesting marble here. It's amber colored, and they didn't make too many amber colored marbles in the 1900s. It's the same color as like a brown beer bottle. If you see all of those gold flakes there, that's actually mica, which is a mineral, and it has a high melting point. So you can mix it with glass, and it would be like a reflective glitter inside there. You could never do that with plastic glitter. Thirdly, it has a pontile scar on it from when it was connected to the glass rod. And you can see the pontile right there, the scar anyway. And so this was handmade, and a lot of people say that this was made actually in Germany. So if this was made in Germany in the 1800s, and I found it in the woods, you know, in 2018, what an amazing find to come across that. So this is one of the best finds that I've ever found, actually. The last thing that I want to show you are these two small bottles right here. I found this one in another video, but this one we've never seen yet. Let's take a look at them. As you can see, this one is turning purple. Now I found this in another video, but I never got a chance to sit down and really look at it. This is Actiptodyne Chemical Company. So it's a cork top, it's manganese, it's embossed, and that's probably, you know, around 1900. So it's a machine-made bottle, but that's still a good find. That's some real bottle hunting there. This one is even older. Now I found this laying on top of the ground. Now we've got to go back and see if we can figure out where this came from. It came from a dump. It is a Lazelle's perfume from New York, and this is what it originally looked like. So this bottle right here is blown in a mold, right? So it was made by a glass maker, and it originally had a stopper on it and a paper label. So this is about, from what I've read, about 1890. So we've got to go back and see if we can figure out if there's a bottle dump there. This probably came from a bottle dump, and if we can find it, we'll find other things from about 1800. So look forward to that in an upcoming video. Alright, well, thank you for stopping by. I've been metal detecting. I've had some terrible luck, so I'm in a dry spell right now, but that's how it is. So just want to keep you posted. Stay tuned. We're gonna see if we can go out there and find that bottle dump where the perfume came from. That's 1800, so that's the next project. Thank you.